Hey fam, what's good? It's me, your boy Gedamo Shadi, and welcome back to the Lift is Rise podcast, where we get to talk about mental health issues encountered by the youth, and we get to try to find solutions towards on how we can grow each other on that part. So today's opening quote is: a mentor is someone who helps you or allows you to see the hope inside you. And that's by Oprah Winfrey. And dear listeners, today I'm not alone, but I'm joined by someone I've always wanted to have on a show. And today I feel so very lucky and very blessed that he's here. So I'm just going to give him the platform to introduce himself. Sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. I am Emmanuel Dlamini. I am a pastor and a life coach, born in Manzini but currently living in Baban.
Oh, certified life coach. Wow. How's it going in that part, sir? Like, how has it been, in fact?
Yeah, man, it's been an interesting journey. The life coaching profession, I found, works very well with my pastoring profession as well. So it's been an interesting journey. I love people. I love seeing people grow. I love seeing people transformed. So it's been the best years of my life.
Wait, you said how long has it been?
I've been a pastor for 20 years. I've been a professional life coach since 2017.
Wow. And so you are based in Baban?
Currently, yes.
And so do you have, like, according to what you've been, do you have maybe like a specific figure of people that you've worked with, like impacted maybe and, helped out?
Yeah. We run a monthly program throughout the year.
Okay.
So we've been able to coach upwards of 300 people.
Wow.
Since then, we run monthly cohorts and people that are also in the church. Because since I started life coaching, I've done a lot also among the Christian faith, just introducing, because it's a relatively new profession.
No, I get that. And so, sir, just an icebreaker question.
Yeah.
Can you think of a mentor who had a big impact on your life? And what's one lesson you got from that still sticks with you even today?
Yeah, man. For me, the first mentor that I recognized in my life was my brother. The time I was in primary school, he was in high school. So he's the first person that taught me the importance of reading books to better yourself, to grow yourself. The first book that I read, even at that age, was 7 Habits of Highly Effective People at the time, Stephen R. Covey. So I got that from him. And throughout my life, that's been something that has shaped the way that I think and the way that I interact with the world and in my environment. So that's been a big deal for me, educating yourself, stretching yourself, books, reading, improving yourself. That's been a big deal.
Improving yourself, self-growth, personal growth.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome stuff. And then now, can you maybe help me and my listeners understand what is mentorship and what impact does it have on a young person's mental well-being?
Yeah, with mentorship, you're looking at someone that is more experienced than you.
Okay.
Someone that you look up to in whatever field that could be, that is coming in to give you guidance and just help you navigate, life. So that is someone we can refer to as a mentor on a very simple, simple way of saying it.
So, how does it get to impact what a young person's mental well-being?
Yeah. So what's important about mentoring is this is not just a person that you look up to, but it's someone that you have a relationship with.
Yeah.
So he or she gives you that moral support, emotional support. That person is there to encourage you. That person is there for accountability.
Yeah.
That person is there, to give you those tools, those techniques sometimes that you need to get ahead and improve your life.
Providing the tools. I get that. And then what can a young person do if, say, they feel unsupported and misunderstood by their mentor?
Yeah. I believe that in whatever situation you face in life, there's always something to learn. You know, I believe that if that relationship was mentor-mentee, there was a time where it was working, and then maybe it got to a time where it isn't working. And so I believe that as a young person, you do need to step back, ask yourself, what am I learning? Whatever pain, whatever misunderstanding, but what am I learning? Because mentoring and you and your mentor and you as a mentee, there's always learning going on, even if it's more on the negative side, but there's something to learn for you. So as a young person, if you feel unsupported by your mentor, I would suggest that first of all, what am I learning from that experience where I'm feeling unsupported? What am I learning? What am I coming out of that with? And then further on, did I create clear lines of communication
with
my mentor?
Okay.
Did we have boundaries? Did we clearly define the relationship from the first goal? Because as you ask yourself those questions, you're going to come up with some answers that will help you know what to do. Because if you feel unsupported by your mentor, it's clearly a signal for you to change mentors. You can end the relationship. You can start looking at another mentor. But of course, I believe that what's more important is to self-introspect. That's why I said, what am I learning out of this? Because sometimes, and I see this a lot with young people, sometimes you are the one that will probably be misunderstanding, what the mentor is communicating. Or it could sometimes be many things that I play there. I've seen people come up to me for mentoring, and now when you raise the standard to say this is what it's going to take, they're not ready.
They're not ready. So it's about their readiness, having to know what you need mentorship on.
Yeah, as a young person, it's important. And here we're not talking about, something that has become abusive, a relationship that's become abusive and all of that. We're just talking about, a clear mentor-mentee relationship here. That's no longer working, So you got to check yourself, ask yourself, did we have a clear, understanding from the word go? Because I've seen relationships where sometimes it's so funny. Someone thinks or someone believes you are their mentor, you don't even know.
Boy, how hectic is that?
Yeah, it happens.
Do you have maybe an instance that happened,
Yeah, I think in my line of work as a pastor as well, you get a lot of people saying, here's my pastor.
Okay.
Here's my mentor. I don't even know your name. I don't even know. Sometimes you don't even come to the same church I go to, but they admire you, they admire what you do. And then of course, sometimes because you've created a bit of a name, also people want to be associated with you. But that's where I draw the line. That's not a mentor-mentee relationship. Because if it is, then there must be a mutual understanding. I must know you, you must know me. We must have boundaries and clear lines.
Okay, so before we tap into the boundaries, I just wanna know that you're talking about relationship.
Yeah.
So now, as a young person, what qualities do I need to look into before picking or identifying a mentor?
Yeah.
What are those qualities that young people should look out for?
Yeah, well, I'll give you a few. Can he or she be trusted? Are they a trustworthy person?
Okay.
Are they good communicators? Because you're here to learn.
Yeah.
Do you understand them when they speak, when they do what they do? Also, do they have empathy, understanding? Are they going to support you? Also, are they people that inspire and challenge you?
But wait, how do I know if support? I mean, don't we need to have? Because say maybe I come to you, and I'm like, oh, I saw that guy today. Actually, I kind of think he can be my mentor. But how do I get to now say, he's gonna support me? Is it something that you need to do prior, or it's something that you're gonna do in a relationship of me and you being a mentee and mentor?
Yeah. So what you're looking at here is someone that already has experience and wisdom of some sort.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So it's not just someone that, when you look at the person, they must inspire you.
Okay.
You must want, to be at their level. You must have that desire. And then also, as I said, are they good communicators? Which means you can't jump into the mentoring relationship. You don't jump in. You got to take some time to know the person, to study the person from far.
Okay.
Ask around about the person. You guys are living in a generation where there's so much technology going on.
Go on their Facebook. Stalking you now.
You check them out. Ask people about them. Get to know who this person is before you jump into a relationship with them.
I get that.
Yeah.
And then I feel that get to know more about them. Don't just pick on. I feel like Ankaza,
Yeah, I mean, in Eswatini, maybe if this person is not in the country, in Eswatini, give me anyone. I'll dig up something.
Okay.
That if I want them to mentor me, I can work with. Even if they're not on socials, someone knows someone.
Yeah.
Even if they're in La Vumisa, we are such a small community. Something you can find out. Maybe you won't get all of it, but something you can start working on. Can this person be trusted? Do they have understanding? Do they have empathy? Do they have even the experience required to mentor me?
Experience. Yeah. I feel like asking, what are some of the experiences, that a mentor should have or have gone through?
Yeah.
What are those?
Definitely experiences that inspire the mentee. That's where it's got to be. Because he can be so experienced in a lot of things, but if those things don't inspire you, for instance, I've dabbled in events management.
Okay. Great
lessons, big lessons there. My profile there is one that is very interesting. For instance, I had a young chap come up to me and say, "Hey, you've done this and that. Can you help me out?" And I said to him about events. If you've never done an event where 5 people, 10 people, 20 people attended and it was hosted by you, don't look to be hosting a big artist from somewhere. Start small. Because that is coming out of my experience, 10 years of experience in events management. Man. Trying to host events, doing this and that, and eventually getting to to the level that we wanted, and then deciding this is not what I'm cut out for, this is not what I want to do, because of the stress, the finances that go into it and all of that. I brought into the country one of the biggest US artists, Grammy nominee, what nominee, and no one believed it at the time when we brought him in. But if you thought that was my my sort of big achievement, then you've got it wrong, because my big achievements have been the ones where we did 20 people, 5 people. You create posters, you do events, and only 20 people come, and those are your friends. And all of that, you get disappointed, you pick yourself up, you start building until you make the right connections to get a US artist to come into the country. So it's got to be someone who's done stuff you look at and you say, hey, he's got the experience I need.
And then you mentioned something about starting small. Yeah. So what can you say to a young person right now who's listening about starting small? Say they have this project that they really want to get up and running, but they just don't know where to start. Number one. Number two, it's probably like they don't have the resources.
Yeah.
What can you say to that person right now?
Yeah, man, you're putting me on the spot there. There's so much to say. But I think it all starts with how much do you want this? Yeah. Because you're definitely going to face challenges along the way. Mm-hmm. You're going to be struck down along the way. So how much do you want it? Is it the kind of thing that makes your heart beat, that wakes you up at night? Is it or is it something that you're seeing someone do and you sort of envy it and you want to try it out as well because everyone's doing it, or because it will make your name famous? Do you want it like in your core? How much do you want this? I think that's the biggest question, because if that question is not clear, you won't be able to withstand the pressure that comes with, achieving and working on something. So as a young person, if you want to start something, you got to ask yourself, how much do I want this? Where does it fit in my life purpose? Where does it fit in my life purpose? Where does it fit in my priorities? Because you do not want to waste, spend so much time on something that a couple of months down the line, you're going to realize, this is not what I want to be doing. Okay. So as a young person, also, don't be afraid to experiment, because now with what I just said, I just put pressure that may make the person feel like, maybe let me not try anything. So don't be afraid to experiment, but within, sense. Within sense. You can't experiment with 5,000 or 10,000. You can experiment with 800 or something as a young person. Probably still going to school, still pushing, unemployed or whatever. You can't. You have to experiment within sense.
Yeah.
Do things that where you'll allow yourself to make mistakes. We did a lot of things as young people where we try out something. We know this event is not going to pull in so much or that much of a crowd, but we are also trying to study and understand the market.
I'm still hooked on what you said. Do something and allow yourself to make mistakes.
Please, yes. Allow yourself. Give yourself permission. You will. Even if you don't give yourself permission, you will make mistakes. So you might as well. You're still young.
Yeah.
You're still young. There is room. I think as young people, and I say this to encourage, not to sort of condone being irresponsible.
Yeah.
Try things out, experiment, try this, try that, work with different people, and always try to work with people that stretch you. Less of the cheerleaders, but people that when you look at, you're like, oh man, this woman is doing big things. Try to get close. Sometimes you don't even have to work with them. Just get close. You can learn so much. And maybe I might as well say this. Stop this thing as young people where you see someone doing big things and someone great and you're asking for an autograph. You only have 2 minutes with this person. Ask serious questions. Ask things that are going to help you.
Yeah.
An autograph. The other day, David Beckham comes into the country. and young people are running to take selfies and autographs. And I'm thinking, yes, this billionaire coming here achieved so much. He transcended sports, went into fashion, he went into entertainment. And he's here in Eswatini.
And the only thing we want is an
autograph. Come on.
The issue of autographs. No, that's really deep, Now, I think that's going to be one of my takeaways from our conversation today. Do something and allow yourself to make mistakes. Hey, man. Yeah. I remember when I started out making it started out podcasting, literally, I had zero, like really, really zero.
Yeah.
But then it was January, and then moving into September that year, in fact, August, before going to September, moved into August, stuff went down, got hospitalized for like a whole month in a hospital. Literally didn't know what to do with my life, because I had a mental breakdown. And then after that, while I was in the hospital, I'm like, I've always wanted to start a podcast. In fact, it's one of the things that I want to do this year, that particular year. And then what can I do,
Yeah.
I have nothing, because, when you want a podcast, in my mind, I was like, I need to have all these big cameras, microphones, and that's a lot of capital, Yeah. And then I went to this guy at the theater club. His name is Mlam Fomamba. Yeah, I went there, shared the idea with him, and luckily, he's got like a whole studio there. He's running like that business. And I talked to him. I'm like, yo, bro, I don't have cash, but I want to do this thing.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you have? I'm like, I just have this idea and how it's gonna run.
Yeah.
So I just need like someone who's gonna be behind the sound and the videos and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. I was like, wait, what? you for us? Like, yeah, you can just come through. But of course, there were like T's and C's, And so now, having to like talk about starting small, because in my head, I'm like, where do I even start? I
Yeah.
mean, in my mind, I was like, yeah, I need all these things. I was inflicting that pressure, not knowing that, bro, you can just use what you have to get what you want at the end of the day. And then the rest, what I've also learned with that is that starting small, you don't have it all. You might not have it all figured out.
Yes.
But with the 20% that you have or 10% that you have, bro, just get up, do it. The 100% will be filled up along the way, eventually, because while you're doing this thing, you're gonna attract, also like the attraction. You're gonna, like you said, engaging with people. Start asking for autographs. Like literally, I also met this guy at Nambu Studio. I think it's what's his name? Sense. I met Sense. I was like, because he came in and then he asked for something. I was kind of my friend. He asked to look for something on my phone. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then when he left, I'm like, oh, wait, I know that guy from somewhere. And I asked him, I was like, nah, that's Sense. Like, what? And then he came back, and I tried to like ask some questions, and it was really, really, really quite experienced because I got to learn more about this the music industry in Eswatini. So now when you say stop asking for autographs, it just reminds me of that moment. I was like, what should I do? I mean, let me just ask questions. I couldn't think of like an autograph, but like I'm like, I mean, he's big, like he's international. What can I do? I found myself being in a conversation with this guy. I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. And you also talked about learning. So now I just want to ask, like, through your journey, what are some of the things that you can point out that, I'm learning ABC, while interacting with different kinds of people? You said it's a program that runs every month. So like maybe you can share with us like what you get to learn on a monthly basis from those programs.
We are learning so much, man. I think the big one is something we already knew when we started about, helping people know what they want and also how to become that which they want. And then having to find out that people don't know what they want. So that's one big thing that for me has been, you actually don't know what you want because you don't know who you are.
Okay. Blow us away.
So it's been interesting to see that if I ask you now, man, like if nothing was impossible, what would you do? What do you want? That freeze, that freeze, that freeze is something else, because it tells me that you are struggling with limiting beliefs.
Okay.
That freeze tells me that you're struggling with limiting beliefs, you're struggling with your identity as well. Because that should be a question that is easy for you to answer. Yes, because I've just removed the biggest barriers. But you're still stuck.
Exactly. Come on.
I've just removed everything, but you're still stuck. So you should be able, to detail it for me. This is what I want. First, this is who I am. This is what I want. So with our program, we've learned a lot in shaping, the way that people think, and also teaching people sometimes how to think, because that's something that we've found that within our context in Eswatini, we really do need to teach people how to think. People think thinking is not a skill. People think thinking is just something that's random that you just do. And this is where it messes up your mental health. Because if you don't know how to think and you don't know how to direct your thoughts, then you're going to find yourself giving up the power to think to just your brain, to just your mind, instead of you controlling, this is what I am thinking. This is what I want to be thinking about, because this is where I want to go. So if you want to go to Mbabane, you should be thinking about how to get to Mbabane, not be thinking about how to get to Manzini, because Mbabane is your destination. You are in Manzini, yes, but your thinking should not so much be invested in thinking about Manzini, but Mbabane. So what we teach is how to fight and how to win over those mental barriers and your limiting beliefs. I speak of this word beliefs very strongly, because that is where your identity is also hidden. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about life? Because if you believe I am a failure, then that's already limiting to your identity and also to what you can achieve. So if I believe I'm born in a small country, that's my belief system. The country is what? Small. And so that even affects the way that I think of my country, and in essence, I think of myself. And what's going to come out of that is I am within this small context, I am small. And so even my thinking will not be a thinking that takes me out of my context. And I will not be intentional in interacting with anything outside of my small context. And so with this class and this program, basically just bringing down these mental barriers and also working on these limiting beliefs so that we can shape your thinking patterns, and in essence, so that you can have a great mental health.
Thinking is a skill.
It is, my brother.
Wow. I wasn't aware, but we get to learn every day.
See, there is intentionality about thinking. I'm a person of faith.
Okay.
I read the Bible. I believe in the Bible.
Yeah.
One of the key things about the Bible is meditation.
Meditation?
Meditation.
Okay.
Joshua 1 verse 8. You shall meditate.
Okay.
You shall think and ponder on this book of the law day and night. Why does God put so much emphasis on thinking and pondering? Because it's going to shape how you interact. This was written to a Joshua who was stepping into big shoes of Moses, who was his leader before then, and supposed to take these children of Israel into the promised land. Big role. Coming from being a servant to Moses, he needed to shift his thinking. And so God says to him, what I'm going to give you is not a motivational speech. I'm going to give you a process, thinking.
Oh. Thinking.
So God gives him a process. And the process is day and night. See, God is saying day and night, you should be thinking on where you are going, not where you are, Joshua. And it's the same thing I give to everyone that comes into the program. It won't help us to dwell on our mistakes. It won't help us to dwell on our current situation. We do need to be aware of it, but not dwell on it. We need to be thinking about where we want to go, which is what our coaching program does, helping you figure out how to get to where you want to go and become the person you want to be.
Getting where you want to go. Yeah. And so is it like, have you, like, in your program?
Yeah.
I think maybe like I should ask, you said you also do with young people.
Yeah.
So do you struggle with like that, having to like figure out where they're going? Do most of them know where they're going?
No, most don't fully. Especially young people.
But like, I also want to ask, I know where I want to go, but like, it's like I'm not going anywhere,
Yeah, because the knowing, how I detail knowing is I'm equipped.
I'm equipped.
Knowledge equips. So if you say to me, I know where I'm going,
yeah,
I have the abilities and the skills to get there. Unless you are saying you have information about where you're going. But when you say, yeah, I know, that means you are fully equipped to get there. That's knowledge. Knowledge equips. Knowledge is more than information.
That's deep. And then what are some cases in your program that you find are like really strange and difficult to like work around, especially when it comes to young people's mental well-being?
Yeah. One of the interesting ones that I came across was a lady that was now in the place where she now knew where she wanted to go and what she wanted, but was struggling with, how do I come out of the friendships I've created? Because where I want to go demands that I break certain friendships. I move away from certain spaces to create room for me to go where I want to go. That's one of the most difficult things. And young people struggle a lot with peer pressure, struggle a lot with toxic relationships.
Exactly.
You're stuck in this relationship, and it's toxic, but it's difficult to sort of remove yourself from it.
Because it's kind of like has to do now with attachment.
Yeah.
You don't want to break the
And it has
person's
defined
heart.
you. I mean, it's been 3 years you've been with this person.
Yeesh.
Sort of defines even, how you do things and even your dreams have been defined by the relationship now. But all of a sudden you realize. So that's one struggle that we faced. And one of the things I've always said, coming into the program, I always say to people, give yourself permission to be selfish.
Okay.
And I know it sounds controversial and all of that, because even as Christians, we don't encourage people to be selfish. We can encourage people to be selfless. But here's why I say it. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
You cannot give what you don't have. And for you to have, you need to accumulate. You need to focus on self, improving self, so that you can pour into all the relationships that need you to pour. As a father, as a friend, as a sibling, you need to share the love. But if you don't have it anymore, your tank is depleted. So I always say, for the 4 weeks of the program, focus on self. Give yourself that permission to focus on yourself. So that's been a struggle that we find all the time, where someone suddenly realizes, hey, this relationship won't even grow if I don't give myself permission for a season to be selfish. Because what this gent is expecting from me as a lady in the relationship, I cannot give because my tank is depleted. I need to refuel, I need to reorganize, I need to rethink. So that's been something that's always interesting for me, because it's difficult to get people to say, hey, it's okay for you just to focus on yourself and just focus on pouring into you. I've had to advise people and say, instead of going out, spending time with your friends and contributing to buying drinks and all of that, why not take the time to attend a personal growth seminar? Why not divert that to something that's going to feed you, so that you can become a better friend?
Oh, take that and invest it and come back better. So it also reminds me of a statement a friend of mine was telling me the other day, that people should not drink from the inside of your cup. They should drink, from the outside. You're overflowing now. They should drink from the droplets and all that.
That's good.
And then now you saying, just take the cash, go attend the seminar.
Yeah. Invest in
be
yourself.
a better friend and let them drink from the outside, from inside. I'm just like, oh. But I think one of the things young people may struggle, because this now has to do with, it kind of links with self finding. You need to find yourself.
Yeah.
How do we even go about with that?
Self-awareness, assertiveness, esteem, all of those things are around identity, knowing yourself. How you go about that is what I said in the beginning. What do I want? Who am I? One of the exercises that we do is create a list of your priorities in life. What are the things that beat in your heart stronger than others? What are the things to you that are important? What are the things that you can live without? But what are those that you can't live without? This could be things, this could be people.
Okay.
Where are your priorities? Because if you don't know what's important to you, you will waste, you will do so many things and realize this was not what I wanted, this is not who I am. So it's very important that if you are on the journey to finding yourself, be honest with yourself, be honest with your mistakes, be honest with what you've messed up. Also be honest with what you need to correct. Don't be afraid to face yourself in the mirror and sometimes look at yourself and say, I messed up there. But be quick to pick yourself up. So it's important that you know what is it that you want. If you talk to many young people and you sit them down, say, is this what you really want? You find out most often than not, it's not. It was because of peer pressure. It was because of status. It was because of the people around and the environment and all of that. And I believe that, yes, the environment most of the time influences us, but our dream And our intention should be always to influence the environment ourselves. And so it's important to know what you want. What are the priorities for you?
What do you want as a young person?
Yeah.
And sometimes, like you said, we spend so much time focusing on things that we think we want, but unfortunately we don't.
Yeah. And I think, just to jump in there, one of the things that's important as well is to observe yourself. Does this fulfill me? After doing it and after I've done it, maybe for this, as long as I've done it, I always talk about, intoxicating substances and all of that.
Yeah.
If you keep doing that and it keeps depleting you, and every time you're waking up, you've got a headache, it's messing up your health, is it something that you want? Do you want health, or do you want to always have fun and be intoxicated? You will find most people will say, I want to be healthy, but they are not being healthy. Instead, they are busy intoxicating. So it's important to have that strong conversation with yourself and then start looking for ways that I can become this person that I want. With everyone, even us here, if you talk to us on a sincere note, you will find there's always this better version of myself inside.
Okay.
There's always this aspiration that I have, sometimes that I'm not pursuing, and that's where coaching comes in, because that is what the coach comes in to help you figure out. How do I become this person? Because this person is in me, clearly.
It's in me, exactly. And now I'm just now having to face that person. Because I think also then that's when you really, really need to look really dig deep, and heal. Now, tapping into that inner child you've been suppressing, probably.
Yeah.
Hey.
And you need to be bold. See, when it comes to, because I believe we're all called into greatness.
Yeah.
Greatness needs bold people. Bold even to face your demons. You need to be that bold, courageous. You without being that bold, you can't. I mean, you look at everyone that has ever achieved anything great. They'll tell you their life story always has to do with, there was a point in time where I had to decide to face my weaknesses, to face the things that did not show me the best version of myself. And I had to decide what I'm going to do about it. Not just facing it, but what will I do? That's where you find you have got to find mentoring, you've got to find coaching, you've got to find counseling. Why? Because all of a sudden you've decided to be bold.
Boldness.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned something at the beginning. You made an example. We were talking about thinking.
Yeah.
Thinking it's a skill, and in Swatini, it's a small country, but then now I don't know if this is gonna make sense, but I just feel like I should ask you.
Yeah.
Do you think sometimes? Well, maybe not the thinking itself, but do you think sometimes the environment? I want to do something so bad.
Yeah.
But the environment is just limiting, if I can put it like that. It's not conducive enough, or it's just not conducive at all for me to execute that project.
Yeah.
Do you think that sometimes it's possible?
Yeah, I think all the time environment is limiting. All the time. Because we are bigger, we are always greater than our environment. That's what I believe. So environment will always limit you. If you look at the greatest innovations that have ever come out of Earth and human beings, were not innovations that, in fact, it's not an innovation if it was something that already existed.
Okay. Yeah.
So this person had to find, not in the environment, but within themselves, the ability to draw this thing, not from the environment, but from within yourself. And so if we're going to always look at our environment and blame our environment and look at our environment from a limiting position, we will never achieve greatness. We always have to look from within, because that is where this is stored. I mean, even the studio right here, we are sitting with technological equipment and cutting edge stuff here. Someone did not allow their environment to limit them. They designed a microphone, something that had never existed. Probably they didn't even have the material to build a microphone. They had to import it from somewhere.
Hey.
So your environment should not. It can limit you, but it should not.
Should not.
Yeah.
I get that. And then now, so how can a mentor support a young person without overstepping boundaries, just keeping things civil and professional? How can they go about with that?
Yeah, I believe that the biggest work of mentors is to stretch us.
Yeah.
So don't expect a mentor to help you within what you can already do.
Okay.
Yeah. But a mentor should stretch you beyond what you think you can do. So the work of a mentor is to come in and be that, as I said earlier on, bring in that empathy, that emotional support, because for you to stretch beyond what you are and who you are now, you will need a lot of emotional support. And the mentor is coming in to help you celebrate your small wins, because they are the ones that are responsible to take you to greatness. Your small wins. So the mentor is there to help you celebrate your small wins. He's also there to help you deal with your imposter syndrome.
Okay.
As a young person, he's there to remind you, because the small wins will remind you that this is you exercising and working and achieving this, and you deserve it. So the mentor is there to support you and help you believe, even not just in yourself, but believe even in bigger and greater. So I believe that is the biggest responsibility of the mentor. And I think I lean more on mentoring, that is coaching. Because with coaching, I don't tell you what to do. I simply work with what you have and where you want to go, but I give you the tools and techniques to get there. So what am I doing? I'm helping shape your thinking patterns. I'm helping shape your emotional state as well. So that because for you to get to greater heights, you do need to be strong mentally for you to get there. So that is what, as a mentor, I come in to do, to support that, to give you that shoulder to say, hey, man, or that hand to say, let's keep going. Because sometimes you will falter. Sometimes you will, as I said, imposter syndrome. You will sort of doubt yourself, So the mentor is there to prevent that from happening, but keep taking you forward.
Prevent you from that imposter syndrome. Yeah. Just a quick rundown for a listener. Maybe you can help us understand what the imposter syndrome, so that our listeners can understand better what you just said.
Yeah, I think as young people, most of the time, you find yourself in different environments. For instance, when you get a promotion, or you get to become a prefect at school, or you get to become a supervisor, and sometimes, in companies, they'll give you a position that you're not even academically qualified for, but that you are capable of doing.
Yeah.
Now, when you get there, one of the things that happens is you start doubting yourself and especially if there's a lot of pressure involved. You start asking, am I even ready for this? Am I here by merit? You start thinking, they'll discover me in a bit. They'll find out this guy is an imposter. He's not qualified. He doesn't know what he's doing. You have all these negative thoughts running in your head from limiting beliefs.
The issue of limiting beliefs
comes up again. So that imposter syndrome messes you up there because it's your limiting beliefs. There's always going to be this thing in us, no matter who you are, that I don't deserve this, or I'm not ready for this. Sometimes it's fear, fear of failure, So the mentor is very important to help you deal with imposter syndrome. And we all, at some point, suffer from this, So the mentor is there. That's why I said earlier on, the mentor helps you celebrate the small wins. Because that gives you an opportunity to reflect and understand that I put in the work. I achieved. I deserve this. I am qualified. But if you are not going to celebrate the small wins, all of a sudden you are in this this room with big shots. And you are supposed to give a speech because they have seen your work. But now you are here being intimidated by them.
By them, yeah. Hey, that, hey.
But they are here to listen to your work.
You.
You know, I had an interesting episode with that a couple of years ago in Joburg.
Yeah.
All these people in the room are more educated than me. But I've been selected from Eswatini to come and address these people because of the community work I'm doing. And I had to remind myself, listen, you are not a professor, you are not a lecturer or whatever. Yes, these are lecturers, but they are going to learn from what you've done because they haven't done what you've done.
Man.
And I gave my speech.
And you nailed it.
Yes, I did. You bet I did.
Oh. Now, the issue of self-doubt, limiting beliefs and all that, I don't know. I don't know, like, can we cut that? Is it possible for one person to just, like, literally cut that just instantly, or it's a thing that we need to, like, work on constantly or something?
Yeah. It's a process, man. It's a process. It's possible to get to the place where you can easily identify them and cut them. But they will always come
back.
Yeah. So it's a process. You have to be intentional. I always say to people, be intentional about your day. Be intentional about your hour. Be intentional about how you spend your time. You can't wake up like every day and just in Siswati it's uvukuyibambe.
Okay.
You just wake up and you just do stuff. You didn't plan what you're going to do. Before you sleep, have a run through of your day. Have a run through of what you're going to be doing tomorrow. I'm going to be doing this, so that you can be able at the end of the day to also reflect on the day and identify where there were missed opportunities, identify where you were limited by your beliefs. You should have done certain things. You're never going to improve yourself, develop yourself, if you don't have a culture of self-introspection, of evaluation. It's not going to happen for you.
Evaluation.
You have to do that.
Every day.
Yeah.
No, I get that. Also, how can young people become mentors themselves? You know, probably like to themselves or the other individual. Like you mentioned at first when we were doing the introduction that your brother is it?
Yes.
He still is.
Yes,
still is your mentor.
Yeah.
How can a young person go about with that, you know?
Yeah.
Just being that to themselves and probably like the society at large.
Great question, man. Great question. I love this one. So I said earlier on, I try to simplify when it comes to mentoring. Because sometimes when we throw around these big words, mentor, mentee, people get confused, you know. And I said mentoring happens formally and informally.
Yeah.
So I would suggest to young people to start doing it informally. Okay. Share your experiences. You know, when you see there's people around you that could benefit from some of the things you've experienced that they haven't, share. This generation has got social media, you've got WhatsApp, you've got your statuses should be places where you are practicing how to become a mentor yourself. Share your experiences. Don't do this thing of posting on WhatsApp and Facebook, just posting a lot of nonsense.
I'm posting my food,
Yeah, you can post your food from time to time, but if you've done something, you've achieved. I mean, you did well in your Form 5, you did well in your Form 3, you did well. You are in your gap year and you are learning so much. You come to the American corner from time to time to gain information and knowledge here. Share about that. Hey guys, so in case you didn't know, there's the American corner in Manzini. These are the facilities available. This is how it's helped me. You know, this is how the facilities have helped me. So I'm saying, young person, share your experiences. If you want to start your journey as a mentor, it doesn't have to start formally. Just share what you have. Share your skills with the people around you. Talk to the people that are in your space. Just share, man. I do that a lot. And sometimes you may find even the people you thought were more knowledgeable than you. Sometimes you will find when you start sharing your life story, they also get to learn. You know, they also get to say, oh, we didn't know, about you and that. They just gain something. So On the flip side, again, listen a lot.
Listen a lot. Okay.
Listen a lot, as much as you like to share, but listen. Get into a room, greet people, talk, mix, mingle, share what you have, but also then have time to listen to others. That's how you become a mentor.
I get that. Wow, listen. And also learning how, you said learning is a skill.
Yeah.
I think like also learning how to think.
Yeah, man.
Learning how to think and assertive, I guess. No, I get that. And then now my last question. Well, it's not a question, but just you saying something to a young person right now.
Yeah.
Piece of advice.
Yeah.
To a young person watching this episode right now.
Yeah.
What can you say to a young person right now?
Never start your day without a plan. Whether you're still at school, whether you're in gap year, whether you're unemployed,
Yeah.
never allow yourself to start anything without a plan, including your day. What am I going to be doing today that's helping me become the person I want to become? Because that is what living is about. We are always evolving towards the better version, the best version of ourselves.
Yeah.
So, young person, my simple advice is never start anything without a plan. And start with your day. You are supposed to have an hour to hour breakdown of your day, by the way, as a young person. And here's what I like to say. Even your time chilling with the machit, your time with friends,
Yeah.
it must be in the plan.
Okay.
You can schedule your downtime, like I'm watching TV. I'm spending this much time watching TV, because what then happens is a lot of young people are spending a lot of time watching. How do you watch a series? Five chapters? What do you call them?
5 seasons.
5 seasons in one day, my guy. My guy, 5 seasons in one day.
It's nice. I mean, it's a joy, but I'm enjoying that.
My question then becomes: is it bringing you closer to the best version of who you want to become?
Snap.
It's not.
Snap. But like for fun, right? Like,
Yes, for fun. Schedule your time watching one chapter or whatever, one season. Because that's your time to relax, and you like to watch something while you're relaxing or listening to music. But I want that to be time that is scheduled.
Okay.
How many times have you been, just one more, how many times have you gone out to a machita and you thought it was just going to be 1 hour and it ended up becoming 5? And you were so behind with your schoolwork, you're so behind with your project or whatever.
How many times? It's quite a lot.
Honestly.
It's quite a lot. When we sometimes, we find that, okay, like I didn't know that this has to be scheduled, because sometimes you'd find that after work, I just go hang out with my friend. We just chill.
Yeah.
He's still working, he's still busy doing his work. And we go. We just, if there's something we need to buy, we buy that, and then we chill, we talk. It's probably going to be like 30 minutes, but like that 30 minutes, it's going to be converted into probably like 2 hours, and then
You got it.
get to the house. We talk. Hey, we talk with that guy. We talk with that guy.
Yeah, but you're a man who's got dreams and a vision.
Yeah.
So your time has got to be valuable. And here's what I'm not saying be boring.
Okay.
You can have your life as exciting as you want, chilling with a machita, whatever, checking on your girlfriend, whatever you're doing. But can it be can you be involved in things that are driving you towards the best version of yourself?
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask. So it's not about whatever season or series that I'm watching.
Yeah.
But the big question is it drawing me closer to that person that I want to be?
Precise. Learn to watch and entertain yourself with things that will also help you and not destroy you as a young person. It's possible. It's possible. For instance, if you're going to always hang out in spaces that encourage delinquent behavior or all those kind of things, you're definitely going to gravitate towards that.
Oh man.
Yeah, but if you learn to also just put yourself in spaces where you are entertained but you're learning as well.
More like educare.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, really. It's not one of the challenges I have with young people. They feel that that kind of life is boring. They want to live the unchained, unscripted, just doing what I want when I want. And there's nothing you'll ever achieve. I'll tell you now for free.
Doing all that, is it drawing you closer to what you want to be?
Yeah. Ask yourself that.
Man, like sometimes I'm just thinking, like, you know, out there, sometimes we don't even know what we want to be. So yeah, there's quite a lot of assignment to do for quite a lot of you know, people out there, especially like the youth, you know.
Yeah, I want to jump in there. There's something I'm planning. Take people away, especially maybe young people, away for a weekend.
Okay.
Just to figure out life purpose. Yeah, just to start there. Figure out.
So is it
away
like,
from the distractions, and just we are there to work on who am I, what do I want.
okay?
I
So
think we'll have less problems even in the country.
yeah, I think so. I think so too. I mean, just like figure out, because when we have that, at least now we'll have people actually know what they want, number one, and actually investing in that and gravitating towards that, like, you know, every day planning that day. Because also, I think even the Bible does talk about this, and I don't mind. Is the devil's playground or something.
You find yourself in trouble because there's nothing occupying you.
Oh snap!
You are just an open, plan there. It's not something that we advise, especially for young people. You are in your best years. Those are years you should use to be productive, so that when you get to retirement, you look back and you say, "Hey, I lived."
Before we wrap it up, do you think sometimes anxiety is caused by? In fact, before we even get to anxiety, there's procrastination, right?
Yeah.
So, what can you say about procrastination? You know, do you teach about that in mentorship?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What can you say about procrastination? There's something that I want to like jump into.
Yeah.
You talked about anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, but like, what can you say about procrastination?
Yeah. That one is deep, and the answer to that is long and winding. But I'll try to keep it short. You remember when I spoke about your days must be designed.
Exactly.
Your days must be planned.
Yeah.
Okay. It's one way of dealing with procrastination. When you schedule things, you know, tomorrow these are the things on my plate. And as you do that, what we do, we also provide guidance in terms of how to track your productive hours and your less productive hours. Because all of us have that. There's people that are morning people. There's people that are more productive and creative in the evening. You know, that they get most work done
At evening.
You know, evening.
Okay, I think.
But you
I fall
also
under
know
that.
if you haven't had the opportunity to check and evaluate yourself. And we've got a couple of tools that we use to help you with that. So that is how you deal with procrastination, because procrastination, as you said, easily also then creates a thin line between it and anxiety.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because what I've noticed is that back then I procrastinated a lot.
Yeah.
And until one day I watched a podcast, I think it's the Diary of a CEO by Steve.
Yeah.
And the guest there was anxiety. Sometimes it's caused by something you know that you should be doing, but you're not doing it. You know, it's like, oh, I know that I need to write that assignment.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be delaying, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do it in an hour's time. I'm gonna do it in 2 hours time, you know. And then the 2 hours gets depleted, and now I'm gonna do it later.
Yeah.
And then now, when the time for you to submit, say maybe it's like in 30 minutes, like, hey, yo, I need to take a bath.
Yeah.
I need to get ready. I need to go to class. I need to do ABC. You know, now it's just a whole lot of work, and your energy now is just like split all over the place. You're just anxious about the whole thing.
Yeah. And it's habits as well. Habits as well. Anxiety and procrastination. You always need to work on your habits. You know, how to break habits, how to start good habits, how to break bad habits. That's one of the sessions we do. How to break bad habits and how to start good habits. That helps you a lot with procrastination, because there's certain things that sometimes, because we are not people that evaluate and introspect our lives, we've got a lot of habits that we get away with that are bad habits.
Okay.
That then feed your procrastination.
Oh boy.
Feed your anxiety. One of the things I always like to talk to young people about is your routine before you sleep in the evening. What's your routine? What's the last thing you watch? When do you sleep? Is your phone under your pillow? It's right far there by the table. Do you sleep chatting on your phone, or do you sleep reading a book?
Okay. What's the difference between sleeping, chatting, and reading a book?
So scientifically, it's been proven that with our phones and our screens, the blue light messes a lot with your brain.
The brain.
And also affects your sleeping patterns.
Okay.
And all of that. And yet with reading a book, you're dealing with that as well. Because with reading a book, your brain sort of refreshes when you're reading a book. Not on your tab or on your just the hard copy of a book. And also it induces you to sleep. And your sleep pattern is better there.
Yeah.
And sleeping early as well. Check your hours. When do you sleep? And also study your sleeping patterns. Nyalo, you've got technologies. I mean, someone gave me a watch the other time that's able to help me track my sleeping patterns and all of that. That helps me become more productive, during the day. I know, for me, you can't get me in productive meetings in the afternoon. In the afternoon, I'm just wrapping up a couple of things. I do my sermon prep as a pastor, morning hours and all of that. I'm more awake, more productive. I'm a morning person. So by 4, I'm up and all of that. So, but that has come off me observing me. Studying me. Your best project is yourself.
Self-awareness.
Yeah. Wow. And most of us struggle with that, myself included. Self-awareness.
It's significant.
Yeah.
Be more aware of yourself, how you feel. These are things that when I had to learn. The thing is, I don't know what happens with young people, but I feel like sometimes most of us kind of learn the hard way,
Yeah, with young people, which is what we're trying to prevent, So, and don't stray out. Don't try and avoid the hard work. One of the things as a coach I always come across is someone signing up and then 2 weeks later they're not showing up for sessions. And you check what is it? It's laziness. It's lack of prioritizing things and all of this. And I always say to them from day one, because it's a 4-week program, I say, day one, please make a contract with yourself that I'm not dropping out until I'm done with this course. I'm not dropping out. And everyone always laughs on the first day. I say to them, after this session, because I give you assignments, right, for 7 days, and you come back and we coach, we do another session. I say, after this session, everything that can happen to prevent you
adds to laziness, in our mind.
Does, man. We don't even have to be shy about saying.
Yeah, reduces.
We are a more lazy generation than previous ones.
It also reduces the creativity I've seen. That's that I get that. Well, I don't know, but one thing I've learned from this episode is that, bro, I need to do quite a lot of hard work, because one thing when you were talking about the hard work and everything and procrastination, I procrastinate a lot, I said, but then now it's having to go back to my board and just try to do shift some few things around and do the things that I've been, because what I've realized also is that this thing also just not messes up your day or the physical stuff, but also like your mental stability, the anxiety. Now you're starting to think that people hate you and stuff like that. It's not like that. It's just something that you need to like do work on yourself. People should not drink from the inside. They should drink from the outside, and having to like put myself first. I was a people's pleaser back then, until I was like, you know what, I need to stop doing this. It's not working out for me. And I'm proud to say that it's been 2 years and 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. Still working on that. Gotta say it's not easy, because people get to think like, "Just right, told me, you know."
You get a lot of that.
You know, I wasn't it's not even about that. I'm just trying to like be a better version of me.
Of me, yeah.
Yeah, and having to like work for my future family and all that. And I think somehow, somewhere, most people don't understand that.
Yeah.
And this is when, you know what you said, like having to like plan your day. This is when I get to see that most people are just time wasters.
Unfortunately.
Like literally, I remember my old circle, you know, would wake up in the morning. Like back then, I was not working. You know, I'm just chilling, probably like making beats in my room. Yeah. So yeah, what are you planning on doing with that beat? I'm like, oh no, I'm just gonna sell it. No, give it to me. I'm gonna do something about it. You know. Yeah, but like I wanna sell it. You know, that's my goal at the end of the day. I wanna make money out of this. No, just put it on a vote for now. You know. I'm like, okay. And then they go, then like they don't come back. They probably like take the people, but don't come back. And then now I'm stuck. You know, I need to sell, but I'm not selling. Also, someone call and let's go hang out. Well, I'd go because I mean, I still also back there I did not have everything figured out. I was not able to like routine my day and stuff like that. But then after I'm like, nah, man, this thing's not working out. People are just time wasters. You know, this is what I actually want, but I'm actually like being pushed into something that is not profiting me in any way. So I was like, but anyway, sir, thank you for coming through. I don't know if you have anything to say before we close. You can say it now.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on your podcast, man.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. It's challenged me as well, just talking through some of these things. I do this is my life's work. And I do want to say in closing that everyone needs a coach.
Straight up.
No matter who you are, you need a coach. And if you don't have a coach yet, find one. Because you are always looking at growing, you're always looking at exploring a better version of yourself. Even me as a coach, I have a coach.
Okay.
So everyone needs a coach. It makes a lot of things, you know, it brings clarity to a lot. It helps you. Some of the mistakes that you were going to make, you don't get to make because you have someone that operates like your second brain. And so mentoring, coaching, and all of that, you should have maybe in a season of your life or whatever, but just make sure that you get coaching. For young people, I'd say it's compulsory, especially in this generation. So do find a coach, and you can find us on the socials as well. Don't know if I have permission from you to share those handles, but
Yeah. Go on.
We'll always share later. So you can just find us on Facebook, Gina's Coaching, and that's us on Facebook. And you can also find me, Emmanuel Dlamini, if you find yourself in a space where you need coaching. For now, we do have a free program that we offer monthly. So
Okay.
you can sign up for that.
Wait, it's Gina's program.
Gina's Coaching.
Oh, Gina's coaching.
GINUS.
Oh, GIN. Okay.
Yes.
You know, I'm just reminded, like, what about the misconceptions, you know, people have towards mentorship?
Yeah.
What can you say about that?
Well, I'll say that explore it.
Explore.
Don't depend on second-hand information.
Okay.
Explore it. Yeah.
All right.
Let me keep it.
All right, fam. So there you have it from Emmanuel Dlamini and from me, your boy Gedemo Shadi. So signing out right now, of course, it's the one and only Gedemo Shadi, Lift Is Rise podcast, your number one mental health podcast in Eswatini. And of course, do me a favor. You check that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that. You share. You like. Drop the comments, bro. I mean, hearing from you guys helps the channel to grow. Everyone, so let's engage. Let's grow together. Hashtag stay mentally fit. We're good.